Good morning, class 10th. Today we will be studying the new chapter in geography, that is agriculture. India is an agriculturally important country. 2/3 of its population is engaged in agricultural activities. So in India, what is the major occupation of the people? It is agriculture. 2/3 of the population is engaged in agricultural activities. Agriculture is a primary activity which produces most of the food that we consume. So we studied that agriculture is involved in primary sector. So it's a primary activity which produces most of the food that we consume. Besides food grains, it also produces raw material for various industries. So it not only produces food grains, but it also produces cotton, jute and other type of raw material for various industries like cotton industries and textile industries and all. Moreover, some agricultural products like tea, coffee, spices, etc. are also exported. So many of the agricultural products and the food grains also are exported, like tea, coffee, spices. Even the rice is exported in some of the countries. Types of farming. Agriculture is an age-old economic activity in our country. So agriculture has been done by people for a long time. Over these years, cultivation methods have changed significantly depending upon the characteristics of physical environment, technological know-how and the socio-cultural practices. So over these years, over the previous years, the cultivation method have changed, and it depends on why the method changed. It changed because of the physical environment, because the environment is changing. Like before, the fertility of soil was very high, but now the fertility of soil is not very high, so we have to use the biochemicals, we have to use the fertilizers, or we have to use the HYV seeds. So now to increase the production, we have to use these kind of things. So the physical, and before there was heavy rainfall, or the production was dependent upon the rainfall. So now due to the change in the physical environment, due to the climate change also, now in many areas irrigation system is needed. So due to the change in the physical environment, the cultivation pattern has also changed. Technological know-how. Now before there was no fertilizers, there were no HYV seeds or high yielding variety of seeds, there was no irrigation system, but now due to the technological know-how, the pattern has changed. And socio-cultural practices also. Before, farmers and their families are members of the society in which they live. In any society, there are strong pressures on its members to behave in certain ways. In all societies, there are accepted ways of doing things, and these ways are directly related to the culture of the society. So the farmers also have to behave in the certain way. They also have to plow in the certain way. Like in India, we have been plowing the fields with the help of bullock. So that became the culture of the farmers. That became the thing of the farmers. And some of the farmers used to pray their fields before sowing the seeds or before harvesting, or there were celebrations after harvesting like Lohri. So that became the culture of the farmers. Now the cultivation methods are changing with the socio-cultural practices are also changing. The farmers' attitudes and desires are influenced by their society's cultures. Now as the farmers are becoming more westernized, the cultivation is also transferring from the subsistence farming to the commercial farming. So according to the socio-cultural practices that are changing, and the cultivation methods are also changing according to it. Farming varies from subsistence to commercial farming. So farming differentiates from the subsistence or to the commercial type. Subsistence is when we farm for ourselves, and commercial is when we farm to sell or when we farm to export to other countries. At present, in different parts of India, the following farming systems are practiced. So we will study different types of farming that is practiced in different parts of India. Primitive subsistence farming. So primitive means previous, subsistence means for surviving. So primitive subsistence farming. This type of farming is still practiced in few pockets of India. So this type of farming is still done in few areas of India. Primitive subsistence agriculture is practiced on a small patches of land with the help of primitive tools like hoe, dhow, digging sticks and family or community labor. So this type of farming is practiced in small patches, small area of land, very small patches of land, with the help of old tools like hoe, dhow, digging sticks, and family or the community labor do this type of subsistence agriculture. This type of farming depends upon monsoon, natural fertility of the soil, and suitability of other environmental conditions of the crops grown. So as I told you that the farming that was done previously, like the old type of farming, was done through the natural or the physical environment. The natural fertility of the soil, the monsoon, it depended on the natural rain and the suitability of the other environmental conditions to the crops grown. It is a slash and burn agriculture. I have told you the meaning of slash and burn. It is a type of jhoom kheti where the land or the forest area or some land in which plants are grown or trees are grown, that area is burnt down, and after that area is cleared, the crops are grown. And after some time, after 1 or 2 crop season, the people move to the other area and do the same. They clear the area, clear the patch of area through burning it down, and later on grow the crop. So at the time, the previous patch gets fertile again. That's why they are leaving this patch of land to get fertile again, and they keep on moving to other patches of land, burn it and grow the crop, and then come back to the first one when it is fertile again. So slash and burn agriculture, farmers clear a patch of land and produce cereals and other fruit crops to sustain their family. So the farmers clear a patch of land and produce cereals and other food crops to sustain or for their family. Subsistence farming is a type of farming where only the family is engaged and the production is done for the community or the family or the other people. For the community only, the close ones. When the soil fertility decreases, the farmers shift. Like they are clearing the patch of land and produce cereals or the food crops, and when the soil fertility decreases, the farmers shift and clear a fresh patch of land for cultivation. So they move to the other patch of land and they clear this patch of land, and then they cultivate on this patch of land. This type of shifting allows nature to replenish the fertility of the soil through natural process. So they are leaving the previous patch of land for a long period so the nature can retain the fertility of the soil itself. Land productivity in this type of agriculture is low as the farmer does not use fertilizers or other modern inputs. So the land productivity is low, that is the food production in this type of farming is very low as the farmers are only depending on the natural factors, that is the natural rain and the natural fertility of the soil. They are not using the modern inputs, the modern fertilizers or the irrigation system. So the food production is very low. It is known by different names in different parts of the country. Like I told you, it is known as jhooming in northeastern states like Assam, Meghalaya, Mizoram and Nagaland, Pamlo in Manipur, Deepa in Bastar district of Chhattisgarh and in Andaman and Nicobar Islands. So it is known as jhooming in northeastern states. These are the name of states where it is known as jhooming. It is known as Palmau in Manipur, Deepa in Bastar district of Chhattisgarh and in Andaman and Nicobar Islands. The name can come in MCQs, okay? So you have to remember this name. Now, jhooming, the slash and burn agriculture is known as milpa in Mexico and Central America, cornucao in Venezuela, roca in Brazil, mesala in Central Africa, ladang in Indonesia, rey in Vietnam. In India, this primitive form of cultivation is called Bewar or Dahiya in Madhya Pradesh, Podu or Penda in Andhra Pradesh, Pama Rabi or Komnan or Bringa in Odisha, Kumari in Western Ghats, Valre or Valtre in southeastern Rajasthan, Khil in the Himalayan belt, Kurua in Jharkhand and jhooming in the northeastern region. You must read it once or twice so that you remember the names, but the most important names are these ones. So you have to prepare the names or remember the names for the board exams, okay? So now here is a small story so you can understand the slash and burn better. Rinza lived with her family in a small village at the outskirts of Dipu in Assam. She enjoys watching her family members clearing, slashing and burning a patch of land for cultivation. So what did her family members do? They cleared, slashed and burned a patch of land, a small patch of land they burned for the farming, for cultivation. She often helps them in irrigating the fields with water running through a bamboo canal from the nearby spring. So from the nearby spring they used to bring the water for irrigation through the bamboo canal, through the bamboos. She loves the surroundings and wants to stay here as long as she can. So she has fallen in love with the surroundings and wants to stay here as long as she can, but this little girl has no idea about the declining fertility of the soil. If they keep on producing on the same patch of land without the fertilizers or without the proper irrigation system, the fertility reduces. They can't increase the fertility without the fertilizers or the chemical pesticides. So the fertility of the soil is decreasing, and her family search for fresh. So now what do they want? They want to search a fresh patch of land in the next season. So this is the type of slash and burn or the jhoom kheti, in which the people or the family members used to burn a patch of land or clear a patch of land and cultivate on that until the fertility reduces, and when the fertility declines they move to the other patch of land and do the same process. Intensive subsistence farming. So we understood the primitive subsistence farming, that how the primitive or the older people or the tribal people used to farm. They used to keep on moving. Intensive subsistence farming, this type of farming is practiced or done in areas of high population pressure on land, in which the population pressure is very high. It is labor intensive farming where high doses of biochemical inputs and irrigation are used for obtaining higher production. So there is high population pressure. The population is very high and we have to produce for them. So we need higher production. And how can we get higher production? We can get higher production through the fertilizers or the biochemical inputs and through proper irrigation system. The per hectare yield is very high. That is, on each hectare the yield or the production is very high. Though the right of inheritance leading to the division of land among successive generations has rendered land holding size uneconomical, and the farmers continue to take maximum output from the limited land in the absence of alternative source of livelihood. So what happened, that due to the right of inheritance, that the father has 2 sons, or we can say 4 sons, and all the 4 sons has 2 sons or 2 daughters. So now the land holding, the land that the father had was a big land, but now that land is distributed among the sons, and further the land is distributed in the grandsons or granddaughters. So due to the right of inheritance, the leading of division of land, the land is divided among successive generations, among the continuing generations, due to which the land holding size has become very uneconomical, very small. And with this the farmers continue to take maximum output from the limited land, and they are trying to produce the maximum output that they can on the limited land now they have, in the absence of alternative source of livelihood. The farmers only do farming. They don't have any alternative or different source of livelihood occupation. They have no other occupation. Thus there is enormous pressure on agricultural land. Thus there is very much pressure on the agricultural land to produce for the needs of the people and for providing the livelihood to the increasing population or increasing number of successors. Commercial farming. Now we studied the intensive subsistence farming and primitive subsistence farming. Now we come to the commercial farming. That is, they are producing for selling only, for the export to the other countries. The main characteristic of this type of farming is the use of higher doses of modern inputs. Example, high yielding variety seeds, chemical fertilizers, insecticides, pesticides, in order to obtain higher productivity. So now in the commercial farming, they want to export, they want to produce huge amounts of food crops. Thus they use high yielding variety of seeds, chemical fertilizers, insecticides, pesticides to obtain higher productivity. The degree of commercialization of agriculture varies from one region to another. In some states the farming is, or the land is more commercialized in other than the other areas. So commercialization of agriculture differs from one region to another. For example, rice is a commercial crop in Haryana and Punjab. Most of the production of rice is sold to the market, to the outside market, or exported to other countries through Haryana and Punjab. But in Odisha, it is a subsistence crop. In Odisha, rice is a subsistence crop. It is grown only for the self-use in Odisha. While in Haryana and Punjab, the rice is farmed for selling outside. Plantation is also a type of commercial farming. In this type of farming, a single crop is grown on a large area. Plantations, huge plantations are there, and on the same area, on the large area, only one crop is grown. The plantation has an interface of agriculture and industry. So plantation is kind of a middle of agriculture and industry. Plantations cover large tracts of land. Plantation is done on large areas or large tracts of land using capital intensive inputs. Like in intensive subsistence, we saw that they are using labor intensive. That is, they are using more of labor. But here in plantations, it is capital intensive inputs. Like tractors are used, or the other capital intensive things are used, inputs are used with the help of migrant laborers, and mostly the laborers are migrant, that is, the laborers are brought from other areas, other countries. All the produce is used as raw material in respective industries, and all the produce in the plantation, usually tea, coffee, rubber, sugarcane, banana, etc. are grown. So all the produce is used as raw material in respective industries or in different industries. In India, tea and coffee, rubber, sugarcane, banana, etc. are important plantation crops. Tea in Assam, North Bengal, coffee in Karnataka are some of the important plantation crops grown in these states. So we saw that what are the important plantation crops. Tea in Assam is very important plantation crop, as well as tea in North Bengal also. Coffee in Karnataka is very important plantation crop. Since the production is mainly for market, as I told you, commercial farming, what happens, the production is mainly for the market. They are not doing subsistence farming, they are doing commercial farming. So mostly the production is for the market. A well-developed network of transport and communication connecting the plantation areas, processing industries and market plays an important role in the development of plantation. If now they are doing the commercial farming, and commercial farming is done for profits, for earning profits. So that's why a well-developed network of transport and communication. There is a well-developed network of transport to transfer the raw materials or the production of the plantation to the market, to the main market, and communication connecting the plantation areas and the processing industries where the food or the plantation crops are processed. In boxes, they are put in boxes, or they are processed or made clean so that they can earn higher prices. Market plays an important role in the development of plantations, and due to this, plantations are developing. So all of this, that is the transport network, the communication network, that is connecting the plantation areas, the processing industries and the markets, it develops the plantations. Due to this, plantations are developing in huge numbers. Cropping pattern. You have studied the physical diversities and plurality of cultures in India. We all know that India is a very diverse country. We can say that it is diverse in both culture as well as in physical areas. There are many different cultures. Plurality of cultures mean there are many different cultures in India. These are also reflected in agricultural practices and cropping patterns in country. There are different agricultural practices and different cropping patterns in the country. Like in different areas, different crops are produced, different patterns are used, different practices are done. Various types of food and fiber crops, vegetables and fruits, spices and condiments, etc. constitute some of the important crops grown in the country. So in the country, what are the major crops? Usually we produce the types of different food and the fiber crops, that is cotton, jute. Vegetables we produce and fruits. Spices, India is a major exporter of spices and condiments, etc. India has 3 cropping seasons, Rabi, Kharif and Zaid. So we have 3 different cropping seasons. We will study about the cropping seasons now. It is very important for the MCQs. Rabi crops are sown in winter from October to December. Remember this, that when it is sown in the winter from October to December and harvested in summer from April to June. Some of the important Rabi crops are wheat, barley, peas, gram and mustard. Though these crops are grown in large parts of India, states from north and northwestern parts such as Punjab, Haryana, Himachal Pradesh, Jammu Kashmir, Uttarakhand and Uttar Pradesh are important for the production of wheat and other Rabi crops. So these states, the Punjab, Haryana, Himachal Pradesh and the other states, in this the production of wheat and other Rabi crops are mostly done. So for Rabi crops, what are the major areas? These are the major areas. Availability of precipitation during winter months due to the western temperate cyclones helps in the success of these crops. What do you mean by precipitation? It means raining, simple. So availability of rain during the winter months due to the western temperate cyclones. The western temperate cyclones bring the rain with it. That's why it is very successful. The rabi crops are very successful because it gets natural rain, natural water. However, the success of the Green Revolution in Punjab, Haryana and Western Uttar Pradesh and parts of Rajasthan has also been an important factor in the growth of the above mentioned rabi crops. So the Green Revolution came in India around 1960. So after the Green Revolution, the high yielding variety of seeds came, and the fertilizers came into India. So after the Green Revolution, the Punjab, Haryana, Western Uttar Pradesh and Rajasthan started growing the rabi crops more in number. Like the production rose by huge amounts. Kharif crops, and they do not have to depend on the rain only, means it is good that the western temperate cyclones are bringing the rain with it, but it is not important. Now the irrigation system is also very well made in some of the states of India. Now we studied about the rabi crops, that they are sown in winter and harvested in the summer, and from this month to that month. And we studied that what are the crops that are grown in rabi season, rabi crops. And then we studied which areas mostly grow the rabi crops and how the western temperate cyclones help the rabi crops. As well as we studied the areas in which the rabi crops are grown after the Green Revolution. It became more prominent. Kharif crops are grown with the onset of monsoon in different parts of the country, and these are harvested in September, October. So Kharif crops are grown when the monsoon comes in the country, different parts of the country, and it is harvested in September, October. Important crops grown during this season are paddy, maize, jowar, bajra, tur, moong, urad, cotton, jute, groundnut and soybean. So these are the major crops that are grown during the Kharif season. Some of the most important rice growing regions are Assam, West Bengal, coastal regions of Odisha, Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, Tamil Nadu, Kerala and Maharashtra, particularly the Konkan coast along with the Uttar Pradesh and Bihar. So in these areas, these are the most important rice growing areas. In previous topic we saw that Haryana and Punjab also produces rice for the commercial purposes, but then recently paddy has also become an important crop of Punjab and Haryana. In states paddy is rice. Okay, so as we saw in the previous topic that in Haryana and Punjab it has become an important, here we saw that the rice has become an commercial crop in Haryana and Punjab. In states like Assam, West Bengal and Odisha, 3 crops of paddy are grown in a year. So in a year 3 crops are grown. These are Os, Aman and Boro. In between the Rabi and Kharif seasons, there is a short season during the summer months known as the Jaid season. So in between the Rabi and the Kharif season, there is one more season, very short season, that is Jaid season. Some of the crops produced during Jaid are watermelon, muskmelon, cucumber, vegetables and fodder crops. Sugarcane takes almost a year to grow. So these are the crops that are grown in the Zaid season. These do not take much time, but the sugarcane takes almost a year to grow. So the last topic for today is major crops. A variety of food and non-food crops are grown in different parts of the country depending upon the variations in soil, climate and cultivation practices. So in different parts of the country, different crops are grown depending on the soil, the climate that place has, as well as the practices, cultivation practices. Major crops grown in India are rice, wheat, millets, pulses, tea and coffee, sugarcane, oilseeds, cotton and jute. So remember the major crops that are grown in India. These are the major crops. So we will start with rice. It is the staple food crop of a majority of the people in India. So it is the main food crop. Almost all of the states eat rice. Let it be northeast or north, south or west, all of the people in India usually eat rice. Our country is the second largest producer of rice in the world after China. So we are the second largest producer of rice and China is the first largest. It is a Kharif crop, as we studied here. In Kharif crops, that rice is the main crop of the Kharif season. And it is grown in many of the parts including Punjab and Haryana, which mostly grows it for the commercial purpose, for selling in the markets. So which requires high temperature? Kharif crop rice requires high temperature above 25 degrees Celsius and high humidity with annual rainfall above 100 centimeters. So it requires high rainfall as well as high temperature, high humidity. In the areas of less rainfall, it grows with the help of irrigation. So it requires more water. That's why if we are growing it in a state that has less rainfall, so we need the irrigation system, a good irrigation system. Rice is grown in the plains of north and northeastern India. It is mostly grown in the plains of north areas like Punjab and Haryana, and northeastern India like Assam, West Bengal. So coastal areas, it also grows in the coastal areas of Odisha, Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, and the deltic regions like Kerala, Maharashtra. Development of dense network of canal irrigation and tube wells have made it possible to grow rice in areas of less rainfall such as Punjab and Haryana. So as I told you that in Punjab and Haryana it was not a main crop before, but after the advent of or after the start of the irrigation system, the canal irrigation and the tube wells, it started to grow in these states also like Punjab and Haryana, as the rice crops needs more water. So if it is the place where rainfall is less, it needs water through canals and irrigation. It is also grown in Punjab, Haryana, Western Uttar Pradesh and parts of Rajasthan. Wheat, this is the second most important cereal crop after the rice. Wheat is the second most important. It is the main food crop in north and northwestern part of the country. This rabi crop requires a cool growing season. So this is a rabi crop, that's why it grows in a cool season and a bright sunshine. It requires cool growing season and bright sunshine at the time of ripening, when it ripens. It requires 50 to 75 centimeter of annual rainfall evenly distributed over the growing season. So in the whole growing season, it needs rainfall 50 to 75 centimeter. There are two important wheat growing zones in the country, the Ganga-Satluj plains in the northwest and the black soil region of the Dakkan. The major wheat producing states are Punjab, Haryana, Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Rajasthan and parts of Madhya Pradesh. So these are the states, or these are the places where wheat is mostly produced. So in the next class we will study the other major crops of India. Thank you.